Hi, I'm Joyce,
And I'm Adrielle.
and we are Divinely Guided.
Still.
Still Divinely Guided,
Yes.
yes. And we've taken a brief hiatus.
Yes.
We are, what's the word I want to use? Pivoting just a little bit
Yeah.
from self care, although I think there will always be an element of self care in what we talk about,
Oh, yeah.
or, to a degree, to varying degrees. But anyway, tonight, Adrielle is going to lead us in our discussion. So, Adrielle, you take it and you introduce our topic for tonight.
So, tonight we're going to be talking about the importance of noticing patterns in your life. And this is a topic that I've been passionate about for a while, that somehow we just never got to. So, for me, I think the important thing to note about patterns is that whenever you don't notice patterns, narratives form about certain types of people or certain situations, when sometimes we don't realize how much we're playing into what's happening because we're in these cycles, we're in these patterns that we need to notice in our lives. And I notice it happens a lot with like relationships or something. Like, you go after the same type of person, but you don't realize that this is a pattern that I'm in. And so then you kind of make a generalization about people when really it's a pattern that you're in. So I think one of the major parts of moving forward as a person is taking, I guess, more accountability and understanding the role that you're playing in the situations that you're in and breaking the pattern. And I also think patterns are like generational as well. So if you see something that was passed down that you don't want to continue, if you're able to notice it, now it's up to you to break out of the pattern. So those are really important things to me.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you say patterns, I know you said sometimes selecting a particular partner to date or
Yeah.
even to marry.
Yeah.
There can be patterns where you're selecting someone who is not really the best person for you
Yeah.
or the best type of person for you.
Yeah.
What are some other patterns that you see that you think we repeat often in life?
With health, I'll say. So I know with me, whenever I'm struggling with like trying to get in better shape, I notice that there's a series of patterns. They're like, I'll fall into the same traps. These are patterns that I have to break. What is something else? Like something that we just are really caught up in patterns with. I don't know. It's hard to think of specific things. For some reason, relationships is the one that comes to mind the biggest immediately. But in life, I think there's so many times when the same things happen and we kind of like go, oh, life. But we're making the same choices.
Right. I think a lot of times people may have repeat the same patterns when it comes to financial decisions.
That too, yeah.
A lot of times, you'll like people who often find themselves in a financial bind.
Yeah.
It's like if they get out of that bind, then they will start repeating those same behaviors that had them in the bind in the first place.
Yeah.
Or like you said, with the eating,
Yeah.
you get into the repeating patterns, and it can be very much generational when it comes to eating, particularly in our communities.
Yeah.
We will continue to eat those things and perpetuate those things that we know cause or contribute to poor health outcomes.
Yeah.
But we as a race, we repeat those patterns over and over again.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times too, we repeat patterns when it comes to choices we make in life that affect our overall well-being, can I say? And that may be a little too broad, but you keep on making decisions that don't lead you to the best jobs.
Yeah.
Or don't lead you to the best partnerships and relationships in life, not just in a dating sense, but even in the associations
Absolutely.
that you have.
Yeah.
You keep on connecting with people who don't support your growth.
Yeah.
You keep connecting with people who have a what is the word I want to use? They're not thinking excelling, expanding, and growth. Rather, they're thinking, we're stuck in this position. We can't get any better. Rather than someone who surrounding yourself with people who support your growth and expansion and possibilities.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, just with the choices that we make. And so you end up basically repeating patterns that your parents have.
Yeah.
Some of the same patterns that your parents did.
Yeah. And one of the more annoying things about patterns, and when people give into them repeatedly, for that person, it creates a narrative. Because they'll be like, oh, well, this is just how it is. So you make like generalizations about entire groups of people based on situations that you have helped to create. Instead of just understanding, no, I'm in that cycle.
Right. I have a role in this.
I have a role in this.
Yeah.
So when I break that cycle, I'm going to automatically see, okay, the world is bigger than my experiences because I was helping to create my experiences. And I think that's one of the, like a hard pill to swallow for people who aren't ready for that one, but it's important.
It absolutely is.
We're all in patterns of some sort, and they're good patterns, and then there are bad patterns, and you have to. Part of healing is acknowledging what you're doing wrong in a lot of ways, instead of just, oh, I'm going to get over what happened to me, like I'm a victim. No. Sometimes it's about getting very real and understanding the way that you're also playing into something. And the way that you've created a narrative around certain situations or certain people based on a pattern that you're stuck in. So that's a really big thing for me.
Yeah.
I try to keep that at the front of my what? I try to keep that at the front of my mind at all times. So.
Yeah. Well, that is good, and I think that is even though we're not necessarily focusing in on self-help right now, that is a good topic or good subject matter in regards to self-help.
Yeah.
Because you realize I am continually making the same decision. It's like I'm taking the same test over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But I keep putting the wrong answer.
Yeah.
So you're going through the same situation, and you're still making the same types of choices.
Yeah.
And expecting something different to happen.
Yeah.
But if you really want to change your status in life, sometimes it requires that we break negative patterns.
Yeah.
And realize, like you said, first of all, realize that we're doing it. And then say, well, I can control this. If I realize I'm doing this, then I and probably I alone can stop this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What was I going to say?
Because it reminds me of you're dieting, you lose a little weight, and then to celebrate that you lost the weight, you reward yourself by then going and eating too much.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, what was I gonna say? Something about, it was about patterns. It was piggybacking off something that you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
What were you just saying?
That if you realize you have the pattern, you realize that you and probably you alone can stop the pattern or change it.
I don't remember.
Not that one?
It might be gone.
Oh. You're too young.
It might be gone. My short-term memory is not great.
Mm-hmm.
Long-term, yeah. Short-term, no. Absolutely not.
But anyway, what are some patterns you find for yourself that you feel like you are repeating, or that some even that you noticed and decidedly broken?
Patterns of, I guess, self-doubt when it comes to things that I want to do. I guess. Instead of like talking myself out of it.
Talking yourself out of the doubt?
Talking myself out of doing something because of my doubt.
Okay.
I guess that's a pattern that I've seen show repeatedly. Whenever I'm starting to get good at something, I start like, here comes doubt. So I feel like that's a pattern that I've kind of, I guess if that even counts, that's a pattern that I feel like I've kind of tried to break. Other patterns like related to like my health and like fitness and stuff like that, I'm still working on those, but I'm able to acknowledge them, which is the first step.
That is the first step, to acknowledge that you are doing it, because you definitely can't change it if you don't
Yeah.
even acknowledge that you're doing it.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to blame other people or other circumstances for what's going on in our lives, when a lot of times it is
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. You have more control sometimes than you think. You do.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sometimes it takes work. It takes work and time to break patterns.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we don't want to put in the necessary work.
Yeah.
We want to do what is easy. And what's easy, it's easier for an object in motion to stay in motion than for you to stop that object, or for you to change direction with that object. And we are like that with our lives and our choices. It's easier for me to keep going down this very familiar path rather than to stop or to even change and get on a new path.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just continue. Okay, I know if I go around this block, it's going to lead me in that same circle. I'm going to end up right back at this spot again.
Yeah.
But I know this circle, and I, just keep going around it rather than doing the work to get off that path
Yeah.
and do something different. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can almost create like a weird self-fulfilling prophecy with that. When,
You can.
When you start with that narrative, you just say, oh, well, this is just how it is. And so you come to expect that, and that's what you continue to get. But you have so much control over that not happening anymore. Like, you can break that chain, like, any day that you wake up and choose to.
Oh, absolutely.
You just have to have the awareness to know that it's time to break this. This is me. And I'm about to get very real about how my choices are affecting me
Right.
and other people around me.
Oh, absolutely. Because nothing is done in a silo.
No, everything has a ripple.
It does. It does. It does. And a lot of times, I think people get a little bit out of shape because they're like, why are you worried about what I'm doing? Because, yeah, it is impacting me,
Yeah.
what you're doing.
It is.
It does have an impact on me. But anyway. And I was asking, I can't remember, did you say there's any particular pattern that you've been proud that you stepped out of, or?
The one where I said I try not to talk myself out of stuff. I'm trying to break I think I have broken the pattern of talking myself out of doing stuff. Out of fear of not being able to do them.
Right, yeah. And I know a lot of times people who are perfectionists, and you and I have talked about that,
Yeah.
we will talk ourselves out of doing something if we're not sure we can do it perfectly.
Yeah.
So, you think that was part of your
Oh yeah.
doubt and talking
part of
yourself out of things?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that and probably can even relate to it. Well, have you been, even though we're on to, a slightly different area, have you been practicing self-care lately?
Lately not as much as I normally do. I will say I have been getting outside and doing my hobby with rollerblading. But
You've
other
been
than
doing that a lot.
I have.
Have you been
I do.
enjoying
I
it?
did very much enjoy it. It's so stress relieving. Like, you feel like you're flying.
It is a sensation like you're flying.
It is just so much fun. That is big self-care for me. But
I used to love skating so much. Oh,
Yeah.
we would skate all over the neighborhood.
Yeah, and then I recently got my light up wheels, so when I skate at night, it's just a whole different vibe. And I wear my earbuds or my headphones, and I'll listen to music while I ride. It's a lot of fun. I recommend everybody has one active hobby, like a hobby just to keep you active that you love doing, that keeps you active. That is so much fun. It's good cardio.
It is good cardio. And then when you mix it with friends like you do,
Yeah.
because most of the time you go skating with your friends.
I do.
And so it's like you're combining two things that are very good for you.
Yeah, and outdoor time. It's great.
Well, very good. Well, our question for you, no, let me ask you, did you have anything else you wanted to add about patterns? Because this was really a topic that you were really very interested in.
Besides that one thing that I can't remember what I was gonna say, I guess. I don't think there's anything else.
Okay, well, I'm sorry you can't remember.
Awareness is key.
Awareness is key. Awareness of those patterns that you're repeating. First step to changing those patterns.
Yeah.
The negative ones. And the good thing about it is any pattern that you have is negative, you can deliberately replace it with a more positive
Yeah.
pattern. But you have to be very deliberate in doing so. It is not going to just automatically just happen, just appear.
No.
You got to do the work. But anyway, so I hope that you all will consider what are some of the patterns in your life. Are you doing things that are creating something opposite to what you want in life? Are you recreating all the negative things? Are you deliberately seeking out relationships that are bound to fail? Are you seeking out friendships that don't support your growth, and so you continually go back and forth to, even if you go new friends, they are the same type of people who don't support growth, who keep you down with them? Think about it. What are those patterns are you recreating? Are you constantly recreating poor health by reinforcing that with poor choices, activities, foods? Think about it. You can change those patterns in your life, and you owe it to yourself to develop patterns that support your growth, your health, your well-being, physically, mentally, spiritually. Think that's a good way to put it?
Yes.
So let us know, what are some of the patterns you find yourself repeating? What is something you you in the middle of this time last year and you swore to yourself, I'm going to fix that before next year, and here you sit on the eve of another year ending, because it won't be long. We're already in month 10. We only have 2 more. So are you getting ready to go to another year supporting that same old habit and pattern? Think about it. Because once you can think about it and name it, you can change it. But anyway, so that's all I have for today. On a totally unrelated subject, I do want to say I'm enjoying my Mary Kay business as an independent consultant. And not even that I'm selling so much, although the amounts, when I look at them, I have sold a lot, but I keep reinvesting it. So I got to get myself under control with that, so that I start to really appreciate my profit more. But in building a business, you have to continue to invest in it. But I've enjoyed. I've started using many of the products myself, and I'm having so many people lately comment on my skin and how it's looking and how it's glowing, and how I don't look my age. So I would say to you, if you're wanting a one-on-one consultation, I'll be glad to do it with you. If you would like to have a facial where we go through some of the steps that we do in our routine, I would be happy to do that with you. Just send me a message, and we can make an appointment, and I can meet with you one-on-one. I can meet with you virtually. However you want to do it, we can do that. But in self-care, you have to consider that this skin is the skin that you're in for life. This is what you get. So on all the things that you try to save and scrimp on, don't do it with your skin, because it's going to be with you for life. It's our largest organ, and it is ours for until we leave here. So you owe it to yourself to treat your skin as well as you can. So that's just my own personal plug for Mary Kay. And like I said, the more I use it myself, the more I'm sold on how well it does on your skin or with your skin. And whatever your concerns are, there's something to help or to address those concerns. And there are products for men and women. So Men take care of their skin as well. But anyway, we've talked enough today, and we are glad to be back with you. We don't know yet what the subject matter will be on next week, but we will continue to be divinely guided as we come up with our subjects each week. So we hope that you will have a great week, that you will take some time for yourself, that you will consider your choices that you're making, and that you will focus on developing some really great patterns and stopping some of the more destructive ones. Is that enough?
Yes, that's enough.
Very well. Good night.